From what we understand about this proposal, it's relatively similar to something that Australia has been doing for several years. In your view, might this work to reduce those dangerous channel crossings?
I think properly implemented and firmly implemented, it will certainly discourage a lot of people from coming here, and certainly discourage the young working age men. And by and large, that's what they are, who are coming here looking for a better life. We know that from the head of the Refugee Council, who said it's a better life they're looking for rather than asylum as such, which is intended for something very different.
Do we not need to have two sides to this policy? Yes, discouraging people taking the very dangerous routes, but also offering a proper process by which people may come to this country, a legitimate channel that is properly assessed. Are we potentially missing out the other half of this equation here?
Well, we don't know. We haven't heard the detail yet, and we're about to, I gather, or some detail. But the fact is that there are already schemes for bringing people, genuine refugees from camps from various parts of the world. We're taking in Afghans. We've taken in Iraqis. We are taking in hundreds, potentially hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians, and they are genuine refugees, and by and large, women and children. What we're talking about here with the channel is that it's become a system, a way for migrating into this country. Get yourself here, get your foot onto a British vessel, and you're home and dry, is really what has all but happened now. And that's what we've got to stop. So long as people can get here by whatever means, and having arrived, stay here, then I'm afraid they will continue to come. And this year, it looks as if it continues at the present rate, we could be looking at 60, 70, 80,000 people coming in this way to settle in this country, because that is what their intention is.
It is a remarkably dangerous thing to do, controlled by criminal gangs, in many times costing those trying to make the journey thousands of pounds, euros, or whatever other currency may be used. Clearly, something needs to be done about this situation. But let's just explain exactly what it is that these desperate people in many cases are told. Because the United Kingdom, up until this point, hasn't really been able to do anything, thanks to a complex myriad of international law. We've not really been able to sort or distinct those who come here whose asylum claims are rejected. We can't get them to leave the country. Would this change that situation?
Well, if we say you're not going to come in, whatever happens, even if your asylum applications are successful, then yes, I mean, that's putting a stop to it. However, I don't entirely agree that at the moment, because of international treaties and laws, we can't send people back. The reason why they're not being sent back at the moment to the safe country they're coming from, and by and large they're coming from France, is because the French won't have them back. And this is caught up in, I think, pre-Brexit arrangements to a large extent, and an election coming up there where I don't think the president wants to be seen as caving into British demands and accepting people back. But ultimately, one of the problems is that many migrants are getting into the EU because of their porous borders, external borders. Although Greece is pretty much doing the sort of thing that we've been calling this government to do, our government to do, and sending people back, and also holding on to them in camps once they arrive. I believe that is one of the elements of the scheme that is going to be announced by the Prime Minister today, because not everyone will be flown to Rwanda. It seems that there will be a centre set up here at one of the former airports, military camps, and people will be able to stay there fairly strictly monitored until their applications are heard. But there again, it all depends what happens at the end of the process. If they're denied asylum, are they then sent back to their countries or from whence they came?
Well, I suppose we will find more of this detail out later today when the Prime Minister speaks. But for now, Mehmet, thank you so much for talking through that issue with us there.